All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking out your time today on the second half of our Life and Annuity Academy. And today we're talking about annuities, demystifying annuities, and we have a great lineup today. So here, we're going to do is just talk about who Insurance Advisors Direct is. Now, we're a full service FMO. We've been around for over 12 years with 150 years plus experience in the insurance industry, and especially in the realm of FMOs. What we pride ourselves on are our 7 pillars of success and how we engage with you and how we make you successful as an independent insurance agent. And those are with our sales tools, our marketing services, our technology, product offering, administrative services, training and education, and lead generation. And as you see, we're always busy because you hear the phones ringing right now. So a lot of our agents here are always getting us to help them with our 7 pillars of success. And with the 7 pillars of success, at the end of the day, at the end of the year, after you've had a long year, either if it's AEP, during AEP, OEP, selling life insurance, or annuities, um, what we do, we offer our agents a trip. Those that qualify for a trip, that trip will be ongoing. This year, our trip will be in May, if I'm not, yeah, in May, and going to Curacao. So those agents, top 10 agents that did well, and maybe next year, the trip hasn't been finalized, but next year, you guys on this call will be in that top 10, especially with selling annuities. So what we're going to do next, we're going to pass this on over to our Vice President of Sales, Christy Strauss. She's a dynamic young lady, and she's going to get you going.
Thanks, Bernard. I love that I'm a young lady. That makes me feel good. Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar. I'm Christy Strauss. I am the VP of Sales. Thank you for taking time to join us today. We really appreciate your commitment to learning and growing and joining our team of experts today. We're thrilled to have a couple of really great facilitators, along with, of course, Bernard and Tyler, part of the Life and Annuity team. And they're here to support you in your journey with growing life and annuities. Maybe you're new to it, maybe you're not, but they are here and going to help you every step of the way. At IAD, as Bernard mentioned, we have 7 pillars that we use to simplify your success. And really, we meet you wherever you are in your journey. And so we want to help you grow and succeed. When you succeed, we succeed. So we have a big stake in that. But we do thank you again for joining us today. And I just wanted to pop in and say hello and thanks. And I'm going to hand it off right now, I believe, to Matt. So Matt, go ahead and hop on, and thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christy, and thank you, everybody, and for all the financial professionals joining the call today. Can't thank you enough for providing us with your your top commodity, which is your time, and very confident it'll be time well spent. As you know, when it comes to the opportunity in the annuity space, I truly could not be more excited about the opportunity that we have this year in 2025 and heading into 2026. So today, I want to cover 3 quick topics with you all. First, I want to highlight the incredible opportunity that we have in the fixed and fixed index annuity space here in 2025, how the economic demographics could not be better aligned for another record-breaking year for fixed and fixed index annuities. Secondly, number 2, I should have started by introducing myself. I'm Matt Wunderlich. I'm the Regional Director for Lincoln Financial. And part 2 of today, I'm going to talk about the annuity solution. And I'm going to talk about how the Lincoln annuity is very well positioned to be a go-to accumulation strategy for you here in 2025 and the clients that you're servicing. And then lastly, number 3, just talk about a few best practices in your client meetings, great questions to ask to help uncover the great annuity opportunity that we have today. So let's start with part one, and let's go ahead and dive into the incredible opportunity that we have with fixed and fixed indexed annuities today in 2025. So I want to talk about 7 reasons why the future looks so promising. And one of the biggest opportunities that we have this year in 2025 is undoubtedly the amount of clients that we see sitting on the sidelines. There has never been more cash on the sidelines than there is today, up over $3 trillion over the last 5 years, currently sitting at $6.7 trillion in cash. Now, why is that? I think a big driver of that is, of course, just fear and uncertainty of markets and everything that's been happening. But also, secondly, number 2, we're in a higher rate environment. And for the first time in decades, clients are actually earning something in cash. You might have a high yield savings account yourself, right? Where you're actually finally earning 3-4% in your cash in your savings account. So that gravitational pull of the safety, the liquidity of the cash is stronger today than ever, as we're actually earning something in that cash. But I'll dive into, even though we're earning something in that cash, we are still not combating one of the biggest concerns of clients, which is inflation and taxes. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this cash opportunity in a moment. I want to jump to reason number 3, and I'm going to simplify this. You're going to catch a recurring theme of simplicity today, and that's that we've never had more unprotected equity in this country than ever. Over $63 trillion of client assets is in unprotected equity. We're at all-time highs in the market. Many clients' retirement accounts are at all-time highs. I think a great question to ask clients when you're meeting with them is simply, what is your plan to capture the great growth that you've had in your retirement savings over the last few years? And then have that game of who talks first, right? What is your plan to capture the great growth that you've seen in your retirement accounts over the last few years? Odds are they may not have a plan, and that tees up a great opportunity to position the fixed and fixed indexed annuity. To take that one step further on the qualified assets, I absolutely love this stat, again, about the incredible opportunity we have. There are more 401k millionaires in the United States than ever, currently over 544,000, and the average age of the 401k millionaire is 59 years old, right? So they are approaching that retirement age. Their retirement assets are at all-time highs from 20, 30 years of contributing to the retirement plan and also being at all-time highs in the market. Look, I don't have the crystal ball of what markets will do, but when they're at all-time highs and accounts are at all-time highs, I think that is a very, very timely opportunity to talk about protection strategies like a fixed indexed annuity and locking in some of that great growth. The demographics for the opportunity, I'm sure we've all seen this stat called Peak 65, right? The baby boomer generation. 11,200 Americans are turning age 65 every day. 16.4 million Americans will be turning age 65 over the next 3 years. That's more than the population of my home state of Pennsylvania. So again, you could probably, if you're still seeing my camera, you can see the smile and excitement on my face. There has never been a better opportunity to work in the retirement business and to help clients with their retirement planning, specifically utilizing fixed and fixed indexed annuities. And then the last 2 reasons are the 2 biggest client concerns, right? Time and time again, 2 biggest client concerns are inflation and taxes. And I'm going to talk about how the fixed indexed annuity is a phenomenal hedge against 2 of those biggest client concerns. But I just want to drill down a little bit deeper into this opportunity, specifically into that cash opportunity, and talk about what we expect and forecast here in 2025. Now, over the last few years, we've been in this rising rate environment. As I said, that has really made that gravitational pull of cash even stronger. Clients have really gravitated to CDs, to those high yield savings accounts, right? For the first time since the late 80s, you can walk into a bank and find a CD between 3 to 5%. But with the Fed starting its rate cut cycle last year, expectations is that this year we expect cash yields to decline, right? So if interest rates decline, those CD rates are going to decline. those high yield savings rates are going to decline. Clients are going to want to hear about ways that they can grow their money safely. That creates a phenomenal opportunity for the fixed indexed annuity to continue to give those clients the yield that they've become accustomed to and the safety and protection that they seek. And the last thing I'll talk about on the opportunity is really drilling down further into this CD opportunity. If you're taking notes, I'd like you to write down, and I want you to Google search after today's call, the CD maturity tsunami. So if you're taking notes, after this call or this evening when you're doing your reading, Google the CD maturity tsunami. You know, talking about the incredible opportunity, you'll see this article talks about how there is over $2.5 trillion, $2.5 trillion in CDs that are set to mature this year in 2025. Here is a phenomenal piece that talks about the real return of CDs. What do I mean by real return? I mean the return net of taxes and inflation, right? Two of the biggest client concerns that have withstood the test of time. And the reality is 17 of the last 20 years, the real return of CDs has actually been negative. Because even though that CD may say 4 or 5%, you're having to pay taxes on that interest earned at the end of the year. So what is actually earned is much less than the rate. And we all know inflation is a major concern. So is there a strategy out there that can better combat these client concerns of taxes and inflation? I'm sure you can guess what that strategy is, right? It is the fixed indexed annuity, right? Within the fixed indexed annuity, we can better hedge against inflation with higher upside growth potential, and we can better hedge against taxes with the tax deferred growth. I like to say that every penny you pay in taxes in your investment is one less penny for that future growth of your retirement. With the tax deferred growth of an annuity, you keep more invested and really maximize the power of compounding. So that's part one. We talked about the incredible opportunity. To simplify that opportunity, if you're taking notes, I'll drill it down into two opportunities. The cash and CDs on the sideline that I just discussed, the non-qualified opportunity. And opportunity number two is that qualified 401k rollover opportunity. Asking the client, do you have any abandoned 401ks? What's your plan to lock in the great growth that you've seen inside of your 401k? A great opportunity to lock in that growth. So now that we've talked about the incredible opportunity, let's talk about the solution. And the solution today is going to be the Lincoln OptiBlend fixed indexed annuity. So for those not familiar with a fixed indexed annuity, I will give you just a brief update of the three pillars, the three core benefits of a fixed indexed annuity. And before I do, I think it's important to note, Lincoln, we surveyed American retirees, and most investors agree that they value protection over growth. 81% of investors say they'd rather invest in a solution that protects them from market loss, even if it means fewer gains. So protection is in high demand. Protection increases client satisfaction levels. Three key benefits of a fixed indexed annuity for clients. First and foremost is the 100% downside protection, right? You cannot lose when it comes to the fixed indexed annuity, and that is backed by the financial strength of Lincoln Financial. A-rated carrier, 118-year history. Lincoln is a name brand when it comes to protection and fixed indexed annuities. Secondly, number two, there is absolutely no cost for the Lincoln fixed indexed annuity. So right away, we can combat two of the biggest concerns clients have with annuities. There is absolutely no risk of your investment, and there is absolutely no fee. But we're not investing money just not to be charged anything. And we're not investing money just not to lose anything. We're investing money to grow it, right? And that's the third pillar, the third core benefit of the fixed indexed annuity is the upside growth potential. So let's talk about that upside growth potential. And I'm going to go back to my theme of simplicity. Where Lincoln truly excels is in protected growth and in accumulating and growing the client's retirement savings and their account value. And I like to say that we do simple better. We like to keep it very, very simple here at Lincoln. If you're writing down 3 words for the Lincoln annuity to take away today, write down safe, simple, and predictable. Lincoln offers safe, simple, and predictable growth for clients. And the way we do it is through what we call our performance trigger strategy. So at Lincoln, we have what is called a performance trigger account. And the beauty of the performance trigger are those three words. It is safe, simple, and predictable. So the way the trigger works is we track the performance of the index. If the return of the index is negative, the account has 100% protection. That's the first keyword, safe. You cannot lose. The trigger strategies are very simple. We track the performance of an index. And if the return of the index is 0 or better, just flat or positive, the account is credited the full rate. I'll dive a little bit deeper into that into a moment, but you heard that correctly. All the index has to do is return 0 or better, and the client and contract earn the full trigger rate. So it is safe, you cannot lose any money. It is simple, flat or positive, you win the rate. And it's very predictable. I love the predictability because only one of two things can occur when it comes to the trigger strategy. And they're both favorable experiences for the client, right? We all want positive annual reviews. We want happy clients. The best way to have happy clients is by keeping it safe, keeping it simple, and keeping it predictable. That's what the trigger does, because only one of two things will happen. You will either earn the full rate, which is a phenomenal annual review, or you will protect that client from market loss. So for those not familiar with the OptiBlend fixed indexed annuity, we offer our OptiBlend fixed indexed annuity in 3 durations. We have a 5-year contract, a 7-year contract, and a 10-year contract. Here is our most current rate sheet. For today's call, again, I'm going to highlight where we are seeing the most amount of success, those simple, predictable trigger strategies. Our most popular trigger strategy is the 1-year S&P 500 performance triggered account. So you'll see, based off of the 5, 7, or 10-year contract for an investment of $100,000 or more, the highest trigger rate we offer is 8% on our 10-year contract. So I'm going to use that as an example. So here is our flyer on the performance trigger strategy. Again, those 3 keywords: safe, simple, predictable. It's very simple. We track the performance of the S&P 500 over a 1-year term, the market, what your clients are seeing on the news every day. If the return of the S&P on the anniversary is just flat or positive, 0 or better, the contract earns the full 8%. So I'll say that again. All the S&P has to do is return 0 or better on the 1-year anniversary, and the contract earns the full 8%. So if the return is 0, client and contract earn 8%. If the return is positive 5, client and contract earn 8%. If the return is positive 20, client and contract earn 8%, right? So very simple. 0 or better, you win the rate, and negative, you are protected from loss. So with where we are in the market, again, back to the opportunity, the markets are at all-time highs. 401ks, retirement savings are at all-time highs. Who knows how much runway growth we have left in the market? How about a strategy that is positioned to win no matter what happens in markets, right? Because the only certainty when it comes to markets in the short term is uncertainty. No one knows if they'll be up, if they'll be down, but with the trigger strategy, you're covered either way. If the return is just 0 or better, you earn that full 8%. And if the return is negative, if we do have a bit of a volatility and loss in the market, we are protecting the client from that loss. So that has been our home run strategy, our performance trigger, providing retirees what they're after, a safe, simple, predictable way to grow their retirement savings. The second strategy I'll introduce today is what's called our 1-year S&P 500 10% daily risk control trigger. I know it's a mouthful, but I promise you it is much simpler than it sounds on my theme of simplicity. This works the same way. It is another trigger strategy. If the index is 0 or better, you win the full rate. If the index return is negative, you're protected from loss. Now, you'll probably see what's very attractive about this strategy is that it has a higher trigger rate, as high as 9.75%. So this works just like the S&P performance trigger, but the difference is that it tracks a different index. It's called the S&P 500 10% daily risk control trigger. Now, this index, it's very, very similar to the S&P. The only difference is that it just has a modest cash position. So it's just a mixture of S&P 500 and cash. But what Lincoln did was we did a side-by-side of this strategy with the traditional S&P over the last decade. And you will see that every year that the traditional S&P was positive, the daily risk control index was also positive. And remember, since we are using a trigger rate, all we care about is positive or negative, right? That's the beauty of the trigger strategy. 0 or better, you win the full rate, 9.75. If the return is negative, you are protected from loss. So those are the two trigger strategies we've had phenomenal success with. The third and final strategy I would just bring to your attention, if you're looking for a little bit more upside, is our S&P 500 participation rate, which is as high as 60%. For those not familiar with the participation rate, again, it's a very simple strategy. We track the S&P 500. If the return is positive, we multiply it by the participation rate, and the account is credited that amount. So for example, if the return of the S&P is 10, at a 60% participation rate, you would earn 6%. But the beauty of the participation rate is the uncapped potential. No matter what no matter how big the return, there's no limit to what you can earn. So the participation rate gives you a little bit higher upside in great markets. So if the S&P returns 10, you would get 6. If the S&P returns 20, you would get 12. If the S&P returns 30, you would get 18, right? So there is no limit to what you can earn in this participation rate. And as always, if the return is negative, you are protected from loss. There are no losses. So to bring this all together, where I find a lot of success with Lincoln is a mixture with our performance trigger strategy and our S&P 500 participation rate, which creates what I like to call the all-weather blend, where you are poised to excel no matter what happens in markets. If the return of the markets are negative, the annuity provides you protection. If we have a return of a modest return in the market between 0 and 10%, the trigger strategy will boost your yield of the annuity contract. And if we have another great year in the market and we return 20, 30%, your trigger strategy will credit and your participation rate will be there to maximize that growth in those really good years. So with this all-weather combo of the trigger and par rate, you are setting yourself up for a positive annual review and positive client experience, regardless of what happens. Because if markets are negative, you've protected that client from loss. If markets are modest, the trigger rate will boost the yield of your annuity contract. And if we have another great return in market, then the trigger will credit and the par rate will be there to maximize upside. So we talked about the opportunity. We talked about the solution, Lincoln's OptiBlend fixed indexed annuity. The last thing I just want to mention is just a few best practices to think about in your client meeting. I'll go back to the opportunity, the CD opportunity. Ask the client, did they purchase the CD over the last few years? Do they have, set a reminder to call you when that CD matures? As there are strategies out there, like a fixed indexed annuity, that can better hedge against inflation and taxes through the higher upside growth potential of those trigger strategies we just reviewed and the tax-deferred growth of the fixed indexed annuity. The last best practice, this has been my favorite phrase that I've heard over the last few years, because we want to make it make sense to clients. And again, the timing could not be better for annuities with where we are in the rate environment, as you saw with those rates, they've never been more attractive than they are today. I heard a phrase the other day that I just thought was phenomenal to help clients understand what a timely opportunity we have right now. And that question and phrase was this. It's comparing it to mortgages, because every client is familiar with a mortgage, right? When is the best time to refinance your home? Well, the best time to refinance your home is when rates are low, right? If you refinanced your house in 2021 when rates were 2 to 3%, that looks like it was a really good decision, right? So you refinance your home when rates are low, but you refinance your retirement when rates are high. With rates currently around decade highs, now is the time for us to discuss refinancing your retirement and taking advantage of these incredible annuity rates and product offerings that we have today. So everybody, I cannot thank you enough for the time, for the opportunity to be on the call here today. And I believe I'll be kicking it off, turning it over to my great partner over at True Choice, Chris DeMars, to talk about this incredible opportunity even further and highlight the guaranteed income opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. What a great presentation. A lot of useful information. Matter of fact, before you jump too quickly, if you could throw back, well, let me introduce myself. Let me start there. My name is Chris DeMars, as he mentioned. I'm with True Choice Financial Group. I'm the Vice President of Annuity Sales. That's a fancy word for wholesaler. And little self-deprecation there, but we are a partner IMO, FMO of Insurance Advisors Direct. And I want to thank Bernard and Christy for reaching out and having us be a part of this wonderful academy and being able to present on annuities as Matt just laid out in front of you. The opportunity, the timing, the demographics are all just right. I mean, there's never been a better time to offer annuities to your clients than right now, as he alluded to, kind of drawing the parallel between mortgage interest rates. Now's the time to strike while the iron's hot and interest rates are high, annuities are strong, the benefits are strong, and your clients will thank you in the long run. But where kind of the rubber meets the road, and one of the things that I've used when I first saw this presentation by Matt regarding the CD tsunami, if you could pull up the real return slide in the market intel report. By the way, this market intel report that the slide comes from and the cash equivalent slide that he showed comes from, I have in a PDF that I can send out to you. But this slide right here, I'm having financial professionals print this part out, just this page of that slide. And if you have a brick and mortar office and you have a desk, just keep it on your desk. It's a conversation starter. Most people have CDs or some type of CDS type paper, treasury, whatever it is. Oftentimes they don't like to talk about it. It's one of those weird things. Just people, they'll tell you all about their brokerage account, their 401k, what they have in savings, everything. But oftentimes it's tough to pull out of them if they have a CD or not. Here's one way to do that. Just keep this at your desk. If they look at it, they'll notice that, oh my goodness, I've been losing money conservatively over the last 20 years. There's only been 3 positive years due to inflation and taxes that CD money has been a positive for the client. So that's a really strong piece. Again, print out, keep it at your desk, and just a conversation starter. So again, thank you for pulling that back up. Matt, I'm going to see if I can't get my presentation going here. Let's see. I want to this here. All right. Okay. Can you guys see that? And you don't see my slide deck presentation? You're actually seeing the presentation itself?
Yes, we see retirement income.
Okay, perfect, perfect. I was on a webinar yesterday, and the guy was presenting, and he was showing the slide deck screen with all the slides, but nothing was clicking through, and I had to tell him to switch it so he could click through. So I want to make sure I didn't make that same mistake. So in combination with what Matt presented on indexed annuities, focused on accumulation, there's another half of the annuity story, which is the income side of things. And when Bernard reached out to me, he gave me 2 slots, and I thought, well, Lincoln being such a great partner, and just having heard the story that Matt went through, I was like, that's great for that slot. I'll cover the income piece. And so I started working on my presentation. So this is probably not going to be as quite as polished as Matt's, but I think you'll get the gist. And retirement income. So I think the big question here is, who needs income? And of course, that's a rhetorical question, right? Everybody needs income, right? You need income to survive. You need income in your working years. Believe it or not, you need income when you retire, because no longer do you have that paycheck coming in every 2 weeks or twice a month or whatever your pay schedule was, right? Everybody needs income. I think the bigger question is how will you source that income in your retirement? Is it going to be sourced from your brokerage account, mutual funds, an annuity, bank account, CDs, bonds, pensions, Social Security? There's many different vehicles, if you will, and how to source. There's many that I didn't even list, but those are kind of the ones that get talked about and thrown around the most. And if you'll see here, I provided an asterisk on the annuity, pension, and Social Security. And as you look at this, I think you can probably start to see why I asterisk those 3 options. So let me get Social Security up on there. Those are the only 3 that can provide your clients with guaranteed income. In essence, a pension is just an annuity. Same with your Social Security. It's just an annuity. So for anybody who wants to poo-poo on annuities, I would say to them, so when it comes time to file for Social Security, you're just going to call them and tell them you don't want your payments, right? Because that's another annuity essentially. So those are the 3 avenues, and I like to take a look at, to kind of set the stage, how retirement planning has changed over the course of the years. This is what retirement planning looked like pretty much through the 80s and 90s. This is how the baby boomers prepared for their retirement planning. It was pension, Social Security, and their own savings. Some may be familiar with the 3-legged stool approach. It's an old story, an old analogy of how baby boomers, for most of you on this call, how your parents or grandparents prepared for their retirement. They worked for a company their entire lives, and then when it came down to retire, they had their pension, they had their Social Security, and then they had whatever they saved in their savings account. Maybe they were lucky enough to start maybe a brokerage account and work with a financial professional. Oftentimes not, though. It was just their savings, what they stacked away in their checking or savings account. But as we got into the 80s and 90s, and companies were looking for ways to maximize shareholder value and increase their return for investors, aka their shareholders, one of the biggest expenditures that they had on the books was a pension plan. So through the 80s and through the 90s, Fortune 500 companies and other companies alike, they moved away from defined benefit plans, and instead they started to offer defined contribution plans, aka 403bs, 401ks, ERISA style plans, which shifted the onus from the company to you, the employee. So now it's just more savings on your part. in the form of your 401k, anything outside of your 401k, IRAs, Roth IRAs, and so forth. So now that stool doesn't look so sturdy anymore because you've pretty much eliminated one of the legs. So who would want to sit on that stool anymore? Which is where, how can we turn your savings into guaranteed income? And what are the benefits of the income? Well, guaranteed income aims to address both market risk and behavioral traps. Some of the benefits that we see from guaranteed income and just annuity in general is principal protection, deferred tax growth. They're low cost. Most income riders will be right around 1%, give or take, depending on the benefit that provides. It provides a death benefit, which is huge, which avoids probate, and it's a non-correlated asset. So having that in an overall portfolio, that if you are doing other things like managing assets in your portfolio, or you're doing your own stock accounts and trading or whatnot, you'll see that this is going to be a non-correlated asset. So many benefits as to why an annuity and an annuity that can provide guaranteed income. But furthermore, well, let's talk about more guaranteed income benefits. There's going to be some key risks that ultimately you don't get to choose when you retire whether these risks will affect you or not. It's going to happen. You can't get past these risks. And with a guaranteed income or even just a traditional fixed annuity, we can start to eliminate some of these key risks in retirement, which is withdrawal rate risk, sequence of return risk, inflation risk, which many income riders have a COLA option on them, Social Security risk, believe it or not, right? Because the risk there is our Social Security fund, forget, there's many dates thrown out, but depending on what levers get changed, that fund, is expected to quote unquote run out, in the next 15 years or so. And, I don't think that'll happen, but you run the risk of reduced benefits. So having something else to supplement your guaranteed income with another source of guaranteed income is of huge benefit. Of course, taxation risk. We just mentioned the slide before. All annuities are tax deferred, so you only get taxed on when the money comes out, unlike other vehicles, whether that's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, assets under management, you name it. Healthcare risk. There's some benefits, LTC linked benefits on some of the income riders that are offered in today's market that will double the income that your client's receiving from the income rider in the event that they qualified for a long-term care need. And then longevity risk. I put this one purposely at the bottom because this is what I call a risk multiplier. The longer you live, the more you're going to inherently see all the risks above that. So again, if you know you're going to die at age 65, well, you may not need an annuity, right? But if you look at any of the longevity studies, if you have two healthy clients that live to age 65, there's a 92% chance one of them is going to live to age 9 into the early 90s. So with modern technology, medicine, all those things, longevity is a huge risk. And the longer you live, the more you're going to have health risk, taxation risk, Social Security risk, inflation risk, sequence of return risk, and withdrawal rate risk. So one way we can curb that risk and really eliminate it is through the use of an annuity with an income rider. Now, some of the unseen psychological benefits that income plays are tremendous. I would say probably more powerful than the benefits of eliminating those risks that I just mentioned. And one of those is just happiness. So think about, when you move to retirement, from your working years to retirement, a lot of things happen psychologically. And some of the big things that we don't talk about, I think, enough when retirement planning is lifestyle, quality of life, the psychology of what retirement means to your client. Oftentimes, when you look at study after study, retirement is often a time where people start their second act. They reinvent themselves, and maybe they start a company. They become an entrepreneur. Maybe they start a second career and just reduce the hours. They want to maintain their existing lifestyle. They want to seek adventure. They want to travel more. They want to just do more. They want involvement in community is huge. They're going to take up different hobbies and activities. They're going to want to maybe volunteer more now that they have more time on their hands. Exercise and healthy living is huge, right? I mean, we just saw the new administration that was a prime key factor. I think, whether you're left, right, or indifferent, um, they ran on healthiness and, what people are consuming and whatnot. And I think that's a big factor contributing to longevity, right? That we talked about, which is a risk multiplier. So let's look at what some of the experts have said about the unseen or the psychological benefits of having guaranteed lifetime income. Time Magazine, lifetime income stream key to retirement happiness. They did a study over in England, and the study says, in the land of grumps, reveals that retirees with a guaranteed lifetime income stream can find true happiness. Kiplinger, retirees with guaranteed income are happier, live longer. Everyone with savings can secure lifetime income, and that goes a long way towards peace of mind in retirement. Retirees who are surrounded, there's an excerpt that I clipped from that article. Retirees who are surrounded by their family and friends and who also have substantial check coming in every month for the rest of their lives are much happier, according to articles published by Time and the Wall Street Journal. They also live longer. So part of, I don't know if it was the Kiplinger or the next one here, you'll see Wall Street Journal, but one of them talked about, who are the happiest people in retirement, and it boiled down to the people who had pension plans, i.e., federal workers, most often because, as we just alluded to, private companies started eradicating pension plans in the 80s and early 90s in favor of defined contribution plans. So nowadays, you'll be lucky if you come across a client who's not some type of federal employee who has a pension. So think about your teachers, your firefighters, your librarians, any type of federal position. Those people are the happiest people right now in retirement because they have a pension plan and they tend to live a bit longer. Wall Street Journal, the secret to happy retirement, friends, neighbors, and a fixed annuity. Buy yourself income. Professor Bender found that retirees who receive traditional company pensions are happier than those who have to rely solely on the savings that amassed in a 401k and a similar retirement savings plan. Seniors, it seems, like the sense of security that comes with guaranteed predictable income. I'll skip reading the next one, Freakonomics, just more of the same. But think about this. You work, let's say, 40 years, and you knew every 2 weeks you were going to get paid. And then you move into retirement and that stops. Think about the psychological effect of that. Now, what if you replaced that 401k or whatever savings with an annuity that can provide a guaranteed lifetime income stream. And when I say that, it doesn't have to be the full amount, right? So how can we start to plan on what's the right amount? So this is kind of where the rubber meets the road, is the plan. So putting this all together now, how can you help your clients implement a strategy that makes sense by using an annuity with a lifetime income rider? And I would say first it starts with probably putting together some sort of budget that you're going to do that includes a fact finder. And we have a plethora of materials from fact finders, budget documents that you can use to help figure out how you can start to structure what we should use to provide a client with income. And I'll submit to you this. This you see on your screen here is a rendition of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think everybody's familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the base of that one, food, water, etc., and then goes up from there. Here's what I call the income hierarchy of needs. So I think it's safe to say that we can start with what are one's needs in retirement? Well, these are the expenses that probably are not going to go away. That is your housing, potentially, if you still have a mortgage, or if you're renting, that's, unless you paid your house off, you're still going to owe taxes on your home. Utilities, just because you retire, your gas company is not going to say, oh, well, he retired, she retired, we can stop billing them. Nope, that bill's going to come once a month. Food, clothing, those are some of the basic necessities. And here's a question to ask your clients. Looking at those needs in your life, housing, utilities, groceries, etc., would you want those to be sourced from a guaranteed source of income or an unguaranteed source of income? I'm willing to bet 9 out of 10 of your clients would probably say guaranteed. Matter of fact, I'd probably be as willing to go as far as 10 out of 10 clients would say, yeah, I'd probably want those guaranteed. So that's where we can say, okay, let's put together a budget. What are those fixed expenditures that are not going to go away? And then you can work with Bernard or Tyler or myself to then reverse engineer to figure out how much do they need to peel off to cover those expenditures in an annuity. Now, this isn't going to look the same for everybody, because now you kind of get into wants. And I'm sure there might be some wants of some people that are going to fall into the protected income category. As you can see here, wants can be covered by probable income, and some wants you might want to cover in protected lifetime income. Whether that's the golf membership to the country club, like that. For me, that's going to be in a need. Like, I need that covered by guaranteed income when I retire. Like, there's no negotiating. Okay. Now maybe the trip to Europe or whatever, maybe that could probably fall into probable. So maybe we don't need to cover that with guaranteed lifetime income. But that's where the budget and the fact finding is going to come into play, and talking about lifestyle and how your client envisions what does their retirement look like to them. Is it going to be focused on travel? Maybe you want to bake in some of the guaranteed income to pay for the travel. Maybe it's something, whatever that is. Again, it's going to look a little bit different for every client. And then, of course, your wishes. This can be, hey, I might want to pass on a little bit of money to my heirs, but it's not as important as covering my basic needs. So if I do have a little bit of leftover money from my brokerage account or my savings or whatever, cool, that can go on. Other type of wishes. Maybe it's, paying, leaving a legacy for your grandkids, whatever those. And I know you guys had covered life insurance yesterday. So maybe that's a great opportunity to bake in some life insurance coverage, because in that way, that's the most efficient way to pass on money as a legacy. So quick little shout out to life insurance there. So with that, that is all I had for you today, but I have a video that I want to play. This is a gentleman by the name of Tom Hegna. He has a lot of incredible stuff out on YouTube. Just Google search him. And this was one of my favorite rants of his. He mentions variable annuities a lot. Well, combined with indexed annuities. Of course, we don't do anything with variable annuities. But the message still connects. So when you hear him say variable annuities, just swap that out with indexed annuities, because they're a third of the cost and provide better benefits. But the idea is the same. And I'm hoping I get some volume on here. I think. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up, Bernard, because I can see you if we're going to get some volume. So I want to leave you with this, and then if there's any questions at the end, I'd be more than happy to ask those. And I think Matt had to jump off, so I can answer any questions pertaining to Lincoln as well, if need be. Nope. Okay, let's see here. Oh. Okay. Let me see. I'm not going to try to spend too much time on this. Maybe what I can do is oh, any ideas, Bernard? Oh, here we go. I need to look
There
on
should
this.
be an option to share your audio.
Yeah, I think that's it. Audio test we switch.
Yep, you had it.
Let's see here. Share. Oh, documents. Oh, I'm sharing the right things. Pause, remote control, more. No, annotate, chat. Maybe under video. You know what? I'll do this on the essence of everybody's time. I'll post the link to this video. I think it's worth everybody taking take a listen to this. It's a little less than 4 minutes long, so very short clip, but very powerful, and really kind of hammers home the idea of using an annuity, the benefits of an annuity, and how that can be a substantial part of helping the overall success of one's retirement. So I'll post the link in the comments. So with that, thank you. I appreciate you guys joining and your time, and I'll turn it over to Bernard here.
Thanks, Chris. I'm actually a fan of Mr. Hegna. He has some great videos. If you guys get a chance, he has and I found this out on Facebook. He has pre-recorded webinars, and if you can maybe see if I can find them, and then we can see how we can get him on over to you guys. But no, he's awesome. He talks about guaranteed income as well as using index universal life. So great. Mr. Tom Hegna is a great guy. So yeah, we'll find that information. Those, and like I said, Chris said you can find them on YouTube, and then I'll see on Facebook how we can get a link on over to you so you can watch those pre-recorded webinars that he has. So, folks, you have any questions for Chris DeMars? He is, I mean, this guy is phenomenal when it comes to annuity concepts, guaranteed annuities. Well, Chris, let me ask you a question, Chris.
Yeah.
I know there is one of the resources you have is the what is the video series that you guys have? Um,
Retirement
Retirement
roadblocks.
Robot. Yes, yes.
Yep.
And everything that he touched on when he was talking about taxation, and this is in no specific order, taxation, longevity, inflation, it's all in retirement roadblocks. And actually a great tool that you can sit down and go over that with your clients, and they can see more of why guaranteed income is important. So that's a great tool as well that uh, we get from True Choice. So let's see, folks, any what do we have here? What is the name of the person you mentioned again with the YouTube videos? That is Tom Hegna. And guaranteed income writer or living benefit writer?
I can answer that. Currently, no. Income or Lincoln, excuse me, is the Opti blend that Matt showed you guys is strictly accumulation. Right now, they exited out of the guaranteed income rider space. Shortly thereafter, COVID, I want to say, and they're looking at possibly bringing that back and getting back into that space. If it happened this year, it wouldn't be till the end of the year.
All right, folks, any other questions for Chris? Well, I'll ask a question. I mean, I already know the answer, but Chris, with the guaranteed income, um, is that truly guaranteed income?
So what
The
is it
guaranteed.
truly guaranteed? Is it truly? So the question is it truly guaranteed?
Yeah, yeah. What are the
It-
caveats to it, or
yeah. So it is truly guaranteed till your last breath. Doesn't matter if you live to 150. The insurance carrier is going to pay whatever that income is. Um, so one of the things that I forgot to mention is that the way they're able to do this um, versus a stock, a bond, a mutual fund, brokerage account, ETF, you name all these type of other investments, those are investments. And an annuity is an insurance contract between the insurance carrier and the client. It's a binding contract that can guarantee life, and an insurance company is the only style of a company that pools risk. So a stock, that's essentially you're just buying company stock. It's not necessarily like Facebook isn't pooling risk. So an insurance company, that's their specialty. They pool risk. They have actuaries. Another way to think about this is take life insurance and just reverse it. That's all an annuity is. And the life insurance, you're going to pay monthly premiums every single month. And then when you pass on, that's going to pay a death benefit to your heirs or whoever your beneficiaries are. With an annuity, we're taking a lump sum, and now we're breaking that down into guaranteed paychecks for the rest of your life. Think about it this way. It's a license to spend. And, Tom Hegna, one of his famous lines is, you don't want to live a what if retirement. The more assets you have and you don't provide yourself with income, you just live this stressed life of, oh, is the market going up? Is the market going down? You're always on edge because you don't know if the market's going to go down 30% or 5% or 10% or whatever. And you have no guaranteed source of income other than Social Security. And, you know, that, again, the psychological aspect of that starts to weigh on people in the form of you're not going to live as long as somebody who has more sources of guaranteed income, and your happiness, because you're always stressed about what the market is doing. So that, again, going back to having that guaranteed income, it is guaranteed for your life, and you can also do it jointly for you and your spouse's life, so you can both be covered.
Thank you, Chris. All right, folks. A shout out to Laura. She wants to thank you for how you presented the emotional value of these products.
Well, you're very welcome. I think it's one of the areas that gets overlooked the most, is that emotional, psychological aspect of that. I mean, I couldn't imagine moving into retirement and not having a paycheck come in regularly. And this is one way we can do that. And again, it's not for every single one of your clients' dollars in their nest eggs, but I think it's for a certain part, and that income hierarchy of needs can be a huge stepping stone, or a huge value add to you guys in helping decipher and helping get your clients to see the benefit. And while I'm on that subject, I'll also make sure you guys are aware of a website called protectedincome.org. This is a nonprofit website that is all about the benefits of using annuities. There's a lot of good materials. Matter of fact, that income hierarchy of needs, I stole from them. It's free materials. There's lots of studies, articles, tools, guides, you name it, and it doesn't cost a thing. It's an invaluable resource, and I highly, highly recommend everybody write that down and take a visit. You can, some of the materials, you have to create an account, but they don't, like most accounts, you're not going to get bombarded with marketing in your email. It's the worst when I do that, and then I got to block them. So this is totally free. Again, go out there, check it out, protectedincome.org.
Yep, great website, folks. The material that they have, little news articles, you can actually put your picture on there, your information on there, and put it on your website, and people think that, you know, that you created the article. It's already pre-printed for you. So great website with a lot of information. Just want to say one thing, we're talking about the emotional part for me. And I don't know if any folks have heard me talk about on some of our webinars, but our business is all behavioral. The material part is what we're selling, and that's a small portion of how to offer products to a person, but everything is all behavioral. When we get to that aspect and show people the value of this and why they need it, then that material part, which is the annuity or the life insurance, you know, that's the 10% of what we do. The behavioral part is 90%. So no, that Chris touched on a great thing right there. So Chris, again, thank you, my friend. It's always a
You're
pleasure.
very welcome. Yeah,
Always
appreciate you having me on.
And then we have a guy here, John Janisic, but we're going to have Tyler introduce John and what John has to offer us. And John, I'll say thank you, my friend, for joining in on us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so thank you all for attending today. That was great information. And it was very well broken down for some of these things, because everyone thinks annuities are these giant, big deals with these huge numbers attached. I promise you, they're not that difficult. And being as real as possible, I think the life insurance side of this stuff is way more complicated than annuities are. They're pretty straightforward. It's not difficult. But as far as application, now that you know some of this stuff, you understand, have a decent grasp of FIAs, of growth products, and a decent grasp of income products, That's great and all, but those are just brochures at the end of the day. How do you apply it? How does this type of thing start? Because I believe it was Matt that touched on it. We are in a period of time where we're going to see the greatest wealth transfer this country has ever seen in history until 2045, but it starts right now. So there's tremendous opportunity to step into this space. And if you are trying to do that as an agent, take your business to the next level. We have one of our partners here that we've worked with for years, who's one of our top annuity performers with IAD, who has a sort of broker offer that we would like to explain that funnels with IAD. I'll let him take it from there, but his name's John, an expert at this type of thing. And I'll stop talking. John, you go ahead.
I definitely wouldn't say an expert. I wouldn't be talking to you. So, a little bit about, and I appreciate you having me on, and I hate looking at myself on camera. I look so tired. It was a late night last night with an appointment, but where I come from in my story, actually before I worked with IED, this is really kind of important because a lot of agents come from different disciplines and backgrounds, some even in property and casualty, which I don't dabble in that, but I definitely see the strength in it. But where I come from is I started my career as a registered rep and financial advising with John Hancock. Absolutely did not like it. I did it for a year. Of course, I also started that in 2008, 2009, when it probably wasn't the most beneficial thing to be doing for a living. But from there, as I left the securities business, and I actually left the securities business because I'm an insurance agent by heart. Things that I want to offer people, I want to guarantee it. Okay. So I left that and kind of went into the annuity, life and annuity production for probably about 12 or 13 years. And then from there, 2020 happened, COVID happened. And like most of you agents know, the life and annuity world, even life insurance is transactional. Okay. There's not a recurring monthly revenue. There's not draws. There's nothing like that. So it's very stressful when your next bit of business comes through. And then when 2020 happened, everybody was locked up, right? So I played a lot of emotional games, especially with me, because I really couldn't even get into my building, my office building, let alone go meet with people. And the last thing people were worried about was, trying to go meet with an insurance agent. So I met somebody through IAD, and kind of in the opposite side of a lot of Medicare agents who don't really want to dabble or don't dabble in annuities. I was an annuity agent that didn't want to touch Medicare. I was scared to death of it. I had no idea how to do it. Didn't want to touch it at all. It was the last thing in the world I would want to touch because I was so used to annuities in life. And when I started to write a Medicare business and working with Medicare business, I kind of saw this opportunity because I was lucky enough to kind of see a little bit more of a holistic advising view between financial advising, life and annuity, and now I'm going into health, which for the most part, I would say almost all Medicare agents are advisors. They're retirement advisors for sure, because of the cost and the risk of cost, spending down your nest eggs, things of that nature. But as a business, and we're all agents, we're all into this to make a living, right? But you can't really make a good living in this business unless you're truly taking care of your clients, because word spreads really fast. So when I started to work in Medicare, it was only from 2020 to maybe 2022 when all of a sudden I had saw even my personal production increase by about 66%. So that's 2/3. Okay. That's not only just clients, that was income. Okay. So I diversified my business with Medicare, and then through Medicare, because I know how the annuities work and the problems that they can solve for people, I was able to build an annuity business a little more as well. And on top of that, when I wrote annuity business, I got more Medicare business. It was very reciprocal. So in terms of diversifying your business, you always have an ongoing revenue stream. And then you're building a transactional stream, and you're building relationships as well. Because annuities, in essence, they're not really sold, but the hardest thing about annuities is how to mine them out. Because you have to understand there's a few different kinds of annuities and the problems that they solve. And I'll give you a perfect example. Luckily enough, I think Tyler helped me with this case last year. A single woman going into retirement. She didn't have a lot of funds, and she was scared to death because she had a little bit of a health condition. Health insurance was a big deal for her. But of course, co-insurances, deductibles were something that was really a big deal for her because she saw when she's no longer working, what this is going to do to her nest egg. And by the way, I would say that she would be very, very blue collar. Okay. By the time she retired, she had maybe $175,000. Okay. Now, you know, as well as I know, she was smart enough through life when she goes into Medicare, okay, and the costs and the things that she's going to have to spend, that money isn't going to last very long because A, it's fully taxable. B, she's spending it down pretty quick. And her Social Security was just about enough to take care of her. And we were able to convert some of her retirement funds, not all, some of her retirement funds, create a nest egg. And that amount of money, we were to create a revenue stream of about an additional $900 a month that put her Social Security in this $900 a month over the threshold that she needed, which means she's not going to have any financial issues whatsoever. And she still had a nest egg sitting aside. Okay. Now that's only one example. That's one example of how when you gain credibility as an agent, I walked in there thinking I'm just going to do Medicare. But through the conversation, there was a lot of things that maybe I just knew what to look for because the other side of the business that I had worked for so long. And she had no idea what they were. She didn't know it was even possible. And when we solved that problem, I ended up getting 7 Medicare referrals out of that as well. Okay. So not only did I get an annuity sale, I got a great Medicare client and 7 Medicare referrals out of that. And out of one of those Medicare referrals, I also got another annuity opportunity. So the reciprocal of that is unbelievable and giving you a lot of credibility as an agent. And then one of the things that I would say that I'm on here for between working with IED is a brokerage opportunity for maybe some of those individuals that, one of two things. Maybe they want to increase their income and maybe they feel like they can serve their book a lot more. And I can help with that in terms of a brokerage opportunity to jump in on those cases and help you out with the ultimate goal of either A, continuing the relationship as a broker with you and you can refer things, or I'm training you enough where you could actually get up and do this on your own and then ultimately build a branch of your business that you can do. And then some of this can come out of P&C because property and casualty agents as well. It's pretty much limitless of what you can do. And yes, I know there's a lot of opportunities out there. And, some people have come to me and said, this is my mom. And, I know there's agents on the panel. And one of the big things a lot of agents talk about is, okay, what about, splits and things like that. I am extremely understanding and empathetic about things like that. And I would never hurt an agent. So I would definitely want to make sure that relationships are growing stronger, not weaker. And ultimately, people have an opportunity to learn something and grow their business even more. And then for me, I get to get a relationship with a lot of other agents as well. So that's kind of where I stand right now. I'm not sure if Tyler wants to add any more to that. But realistically, I just want to see, because I did meet a lot of agents through these past 2 years, and a lot of Medicare agents that I would say, oh, do you work in life and health? And a lot of them would just say, no, I don't. They have no idea. They've never worked in it, never touched it. And then kind of going through some of these examples of cases that maybe I've worked on and maybe the things that I've done, their eyes have opened up, but maybe there's a little bit of fear. And it's the same fear I felt when I dumped into Medicare. I mean, I'm not joking. I was already in the business for 15 years. I got into Medicare and I was scared to death to write my first Medicare Advantage policy. I was scared to death. I had no idea. I mean, I could manage a $1 million annuity, but I could not write a Medicare Advantage policy because I just didn't feel like it was something that my mind wasn't working in that way. But after working with a few partners at IED and trained me how to do certain things, everything opened up. Everything opened up. And I'm starting to see that life and annuity and healthcare, that is a very holistic advising approach if you know how to do that. And I think the value is just tenfold. A, to grow an income or a revenue stream for an agent and build relationships, gain credibility, and ultimately gain referrals. Because last year, I am not a monster Medicare producer by no means, but I didn't buy one lead last year, and every single one of my Medicare policies that I wrote, that I created a relationship with, they were all referrals. Every single one of them were referrals. Some of them came from straight just annuity cases, and some of them came from Medicare cases. So the reciprocal, I can't even tell you guys how incredible it is. to build your business 66%. And not only that, I mean, this is a book of business that's going to continue to feed you, right? And that's true. And then, the clients are automatically going to be bought into you because now you have even more of a vested relationship. You've solved even more problems with them. And that's a big deal. Okay. So I would love to offer the opportunity to work with agents in any capacity, for agents that maybe focus on different sectors of the business, that maybe want to build a little bit more income, or maybe want to build more clientele, and more relationships for their own business and what they're doing. I'd love to offer that brokerage relationship and help anybody out.
Thanks, John. Yeah, and I worked with him all last year. I can vouch for his ability in the financial space and even the health space. He's very holistic, which is the goal for all agents to get to. I hope that everyone who took time out of their day to come on this webinar for almost 2 hours with Bernard, I, and Chris and everyone, obviously that shows some interest in stepping into this space. I hope you see the tremendous opportunity that's right in front of you to partner with another agent who's fluent at this, backed with all the resources that Bernard and I have back here to support you behind the scenes. Insurance Advisors Direct. It's a huge opportunity. I have had several agents already jump on this opportunity that we've worked together with John, but John is a busy person, obviously. So, it's going to get to the point where this opportunity may be there this year, it may be there for 10 years or not. So I strongly encourage you, and again, I'll be calling you folks now that our academy is wrapped up, to give this some thought and jump on the opportunity if you see that that's something in your book of business you could expand on. You just need a little bit extra push along the way to get there. So thanks for your time, John. And another thing,
Thank you for having me.
These things have been life and annuity focused. I think I've always been good about this on the phone with you guys. I'm glad you said that, John. We never want you to stop your Medicare business. We never want you to stop your ACA, your PNC. All that renewal stuff is essential, and you should always maintain doing that. This stuff is what takes you to the next level. It's not saying replace your business now and do it with this. It's to add this type of stuff, life and annuities, to your business. And that's what will change your entire income and the whole deal. So I think that's it for what I have to say. Bernard, outside of thank you everyone for attending. And if you want to wrap it up, Bernard, or if you have any more topics you'd like to discuss, go for it.
Actually, we have one more thing, and actually is touched on what John was talking about. And folks, John is a great guy. Known him since he's been with IAD, and I'm gonna a joke on John. John always remind me of the Lincoln lawyer, and I'm pretty sure
It's not
he
the first
hears
time I've heard that.
Oh, and everyone who's saying, how do we reach out to John to talk? It's like I said, I will
Yeah.
facilitate that stuff. I'll call all you guys now at the academies over the next couple days. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we'll get you guys connected for that. So thank you.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about and something I've thought about for a long time is how we're always leaving money on the table. And John touched on how all products are related. And it is, and I call it a financial symbiosis. So everything is related. And whatever your door opener is, and in John's case is life and annuities, or your person that's a PNC person, the PNC is their door opener, or Medicare agents, that's your door opener to other products. And here, let me share my screen if I can, and I think I got it. Nope, that's not it. Goodness, my technology is horrible when it comes to sharing screens and stuff like that. I think this is it. There we go, folks. My apologies. So what I came up with, and when I'm running annuity illustrations for folks, I always try to use what's called a laddering strategy. and I put maybe 2 1-year indexes together, and then 2 2-year indices together. And then after that first year, I'll change that 1 year to a 2-year. So that's called a laddering strategy, which ultimately grows your annuity a lot better. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I can do that with, or create maybe a strategy for folks who has, and I call it their door openers. So if you're a Medicare agent, there's certain, but like we said earlier, a bunch of other products that fit within that Medicare space that you can offer. So, and we're going to call this your financial security through comprehensive laddering. And I think that's just cut off here. And what we're going to do, and I shortened this, and with your door openers, let's say you're a Medicare agent, your door opener is there's long-term care you can talk about. Same with property and casualty. There's long-term care you can talk about, hospital indemnity, final expense, guaranteed income. Those are all things that your clients need. I mean, you can't talk about it in that specific Medicare meeting, but you can tell them this is your other services that you offer. So we want to try to, and as you see with here, the ladder. So let's talk about the first step here. The first rung of a ladder is Medicare. So you complete that Medicare enrollment. You tell your clients, here are the other services I offer. Then that second rung, you start set an appointment. You set a meeting with your Medicare client, maybe a week after, 2 weeks after, to talk about maybe other specific needs that they have. And of course, guaranteed income is one of those needs that your Medicare client needs. Then you talk about long-term care. Because 70% of folks that's over age 65 are going to need some form of long-term care. Then also with that guaranteed income comes, because you have those out-of-pocket expenses. So instead of tapping into some other savings or your Social Security or pension or whatever, here's this guaranteed income that can pay for those out-of-pocket expenses. So like I say, we want to continue, with that laddering strategy. Then why comprehensive care when you need it? So, and folks, please excuse me, this PowerPoint wasn't like this when I set it up, but you get to discuss the advantages of combining long-term care with life insurance hybrids, emphasize the importance of protecting assets and ensuring a quality care without financial strain. So the main part of our job is to protect our clients' assets. So when you're in that Medicare meeting, or if you're a property and casualty agent, because you're protecting folks' assets. With property and casualty, there's a liability insurance that we have to worry about. If you hit someone, and here, well, in the state of Michigan, we're a no-fault state. However, you're still liable for that person's injuries, which is why we have insured and underinsured coverage to take care of that. So we're protecting your assets in the event that this person tries to sue you. So same with John, who's a life and annuity agent. He's protecting your assets by offering you annuities. Medicare folks, you're protecting that person's assets, even though it's required by the government to have a Medicare plan, but you're protecting that person's assets. So at the end of the day, and I always tell people, what are we selling? And we're selling money at a discount. And that discount is, buy this life insurance policy, for pennies on the dollar to protect you in the event of your death. Same with Medicare, same with long-term care. Just imagine, we just said 70% of people age 65 and older is going to require some type of long-term care. Now, folks, you may be able to self-insure, but I'm going to guarantee you, and this is 100%, that that long-term care expenses is going to eat up every penny that you have. So now, you won't be able to pay for your home. You won't be able to pay for your car. You won't be able to leave a legacy for your family. And unfortunately, this is happening. Folks are becoming destitute no matter how rich they are. They're becoming destitute because of long-term care. So folks, that, like I say, we're selling money at a discount, and everybody, I don't know about you, but I like clothes. I like to dress, and and I don't want to spend $1,000 on a suit. I want to find a discount that I can. So I find that discount and I'm happy. So same thing with long-term care. You find this, you're paying for long-term care at a discount so that you don't have to use your dollars, pennies on the dollar, and then that'll save you from becoming one of millions of folks that become destitute because of long-term care. The same with annuities, with guaranteed annuities. You're getting you a life stream, a guaranteed income stream for life. And as Chris DeMar said, if you live to 130 years old, you're still going to get that same income for life. So that's why it's important to offer other strategies to your clients. So, and one thing that IAD has, that Tyler and we have forms, we have different resources. So when you meet with your Medicare clients, you can just drop this off. Or if you meet with your property and casualty agents, here, clients, here, use this just to talk about other services that you offer that they need. It's not want, but what they need. And not to go through the whole PowerPoint, but that's the laddering strategy. You start with your opening Medicare agent, then you just go on. Look, you'll need hospital indemnity, you need long-term care, you need guaranteed income. That's the laddering strategy. If you are a property and casualty agent, term insurance, index universal life, annuities if you need it, or if you have some type of IRA, 401k, 403b, or whatever, and you need to roll that over into a safer product. That's the laddering strategy, because you can offer all of those products, and Tyler and myself will be able to help you with that laddering strategy. So that's all I have, folks. And folks, I want you to take up John's offer. He's a great guy, and he will assist you 100%. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
so,
Yeah,
thanks.
Thanks, guys, and thanks everyone for attending today. And yeah, the worst part about this job, no matter what you're doing, is prospecting. Always trying to find new clients, new clients, new clients, new clients. What helps a lot with that is I would rather have one client with 5 policies on them, which I've done before, than just 5 clients with 1 policy. That's what Bernard's getting at. It's just, even for your own business, organization, mental capacity, emotional capacity, cross-selling, laddering strategy, however you want to look at it, is just so much better overall for the client, for you, for retention, for referrals, than just going out and shooting out PNC cases to everyone in town, or just Medicare, being the Medicare one-trick pony type of deal, or just a life insurance agent that just door knocks all day long. You want to be able to diversify into all this stuff. So hopefully that was at least taken away today. And then again, thank you all for taking so much time out of your day to sit with us, and I'll speak with you all very soon. We do have a giveaway also. I forgot, Bernard, we doing a giveaway type of thing for
Yeah.
5.
Yep. Actually, one thing, was a young lady, Arlene Arkin, wants to know how to get in touch with John. So Tyler, if you could reach out to Arlene and let her know how to reach out to John. And
Yeah. So like I said, I'll be calling you all, and we'll figure out how to connect you guys with John. So just wait for my call.
You know what, Tyler, really quick, I just read someone in a Q&A, and I'm not going to bring them up, but someone said they came from social work. Okay.
Oh yeah, we
And
talked
that
about
is
this.
actually my discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone brought it up. Someone said, I just real quick, and I know you want to end this, but that is what I went to college for. That's what I was. I was a social worker. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Forgot about that, yeah.
it's interesting enough, that approach is exactly how I became an insurance agent because like in Medicare, I was appalled by the lack of assistance that people in Medicare get because I came from the Medicaid system and a lot of the people in Medicaid, they have unlimited resources. I know people are unhappy and they're not happy about the resources they have, but they actually have governmental employees that will reach out and assist them in terms of case management. That doesn't exist in Medicare. So when I went into Medicare, I approached Medicare like a case manager. So they are cases. They are cases for me. They're not a policy by any means. Okay. So when I go into this Medicare Advantage world or supplement world or whatever they do, not only is there teaching, there's counseling because someone had mentioned a lot of, I think Chris DeMar said, there's a lot of emotion involved in this. And some of the individuals that I work with, they're not in Medicare yet. So I'm teaching them some of the trials and tribulations they're going to have in retirement, and maybe they're 54 years old. And those individuals will say, okay, then what can you do for me? And that's how the conversation starts. And then there's some individuals that are 67 years old that never got their Part D because no one ever told them. And now they're going to get a penalty once they get their prescription drug plan put in place. And they've already experienced A through life, and now they're 2 years into retirement, maybe even 4 years into retirement at 67. And they're seeing the medical costs that are piling up, and they're watching their nest egg come down. And one of the things that so when you approach this in a way as a social worker, so whoever said they came from social work, please take that as a strength. That is not a weakness. You have an edge on almost any other agent out there because you have a different viewpoint of looking at things. The only trial or the problem that you may have come across is spending maybe too much time with a particular client and not continually moving on with production. But going into that, as a social worker by nature, in this business, it's 70-30. It's 70% is you. They buy 70% of you. 30% is knowing how to do what you're doing. You know what you want to find as a result. They're looking for you to find it. They need an answer. They need a result. That is your job to go do that. It doesn't matter what tool you use. You just need to have the resources and the know-how to go find that tool. That's where IED comes in. That's where you call Bernard. That's where you call, Tyler. These guys will help you get to that point because there are multitudes of tools in the same arena. I mean, how many accident plans are there? How many Medicare Advantage plans are there? How many different kinds of supplement plans are there? Okay. How many annuities are there? Right? How many different life insurances are there? So I've been doing this for, we're going almost 20 years. And, I'm 46 years old and I know enough to call Bernard or Tyler and say, hey, listen, I know what I need. Can you find this? Because I know it's out there somewhere. Can you help me find this? And I help build a case with them. And, that's kind of one of the things is that I may know what to look for, but I may not know the tool that's out there with Annuity Rate Watch or the freshest thing that's out there because, like cars in time, these financial products change as well. And a lot of things that people put into date 10 to 15, 20 years ago become very outdated with the interest numbers that they're giving. So, we fell into that last year, a lot of updating people. So, again, as a social worker, please, you have a strength. That is not a weakness by any means. That is a strength. And that's an edge that you have a level of understanding that most agents don't have. You didn't become an agent. You became an agent because you're a social worker. So I just wanted to bring that up. Okay.
Good
Sorry,
stuff.
guys.
That's it. All right, thanks, John. So folks, we do have a giveaway to give away. After this this webinar, Tyler and I we're gonna draw from all the folks that attended. I'm gonna draw about 5 names, and those 5 people that we draw, you're going to get a free business card design, a free postcard design, and a free magnet. Car magnet design. I'll value that about for $400. So like I say, after we get off of here, we'll pull those names. Tyler's going to call everyone and he'll let you know if you won the giveaway. So and Tyler can also speak on the incentive for annuity.
Yes. So for the first quarter, and of course, I don't have it pulled up now, but for the first quarter of this year, a lot of you were on yesterday. We are still running the incentive program for life and annuity business. All FIA carriers. So that's pretty much all annuity carriers qualify. for this type of thing. And they're not hard numbers to reach. They're really not. And this will extend over to March 31st. So even more reason to start stepping out there and looking for opportunities for this type of thing. And again, I don't have it right in front of me, but it hasn't changed since yesterday. So you guys have seen the numbers that are on there. That's what you'll be getting if you hit those numbers. All right. Thank you. Thanks, John, for your time.
No problem at all.
And I think that's all the questions we had. Yeah, guys, thanks for taking today and yesterday to spend time with Bernard and I and our guest speakers, resources, John here. Hope you took something away. Hope you have some drive now to step out. Perfect season to do it with taxes coming right around the corner and all that. It's slow with the health insurance side of things outside of service. Now's the opportunity. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you
Thank you.
guys very much. Take care.
Take care.